Welcome to the YouTube Creators Hub podcast, where we help you conquer the internet one video at a time. We cover everything from how to start a YouTube channel to how to make a video go viral. And now, here's your host, the one and only Dusty Porter.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of the YouTube Creators Hub podcast, the podcast where I chat with wonderful creators and I sit down with them and I talk with them about their journey on YouTube and just the things that make them tick, their pros and cons of being on YouTube, the things they've learned through their years and final success on the platform, and different strategies that they implement to continue to grow. So if you're looking to either start, grow, or monetize a YouTube channel, or if you're a content creator anywhere on the internet for that matter, or you're just someone wanting to grow your brand, small business, this is the place for you. And today is no different. I want to encourage you to check out our sponsor of today's show, which is TubeBuddy. I've been with them now. I was looking as I was preparing the show notes for this episode, 12 years. The first episode that they sponsored was like in the 50s, and we're now 300 and almost 400 episodes in. So check them out if you haven't already. It's the one tool I recommend all YouTube creators check out at least once. No strings attached. You get 30 days for free, an entire month. I promise you will not regret it. Also, a couple of other ways you can connect with us and support us. We have one of the fastest growing YouTube creator economies and communities over on Discord. If you support us for $5 over on less than a Starbucks coffee, I love that analogy because you're getting so much value. You can rub shoulders with other creators, past guests of the show, our members there, and we have our monthly mastermind calls that I host on Zoom. We have one coming up here at the end of April, I believe April 25th, so definitely sign up if you haven't already to go ahead and get in before that date. And then I also do professional and personal coaching. If you want me to audit your YouTube channel, all of those links will be down below if you're listening to this on audio format. We also have a video version of the show you can check out on YouTube. That is YouTube Creators Hub over there as well. If you're curious, what does Dusty look like? There's a video that'll prove just how ugly I am. So with all of that out of the way, I do want to say thank you again for listening to the show, whether you're a new or returning listener. And the easiest thing that you can do today is subscribe to the podcast. Wherever and however you consume this audio show, hit subscribe on your podcast player of choice. And that way, every Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, you, my friend, will get that nice little package of the YouTube Creators Hub show right in your lap. And you can listen to it on your walk or your house chores or while you're pretending to listen to your family. I don't know how you consume podcasts, but you get the point. All right, enough rambling. Let's go ahead and jump into this week's conversation. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the YouTube Creators Hub podcast, where I sit down with content creators, specifically YouTubers, who I believe have been very successful on the platform, and I chat with them about what makes them tick, their failures, the different strategies they've used to get to where they are as creators. We bring on small creators, large creators, all shapes and sizes, and I do believe we have one of the best informative shows on the internet, and this week is no different. We are joined today by Ken Carruth from The4thKen over on YouTube. He's a 21-year-old barber and content creator, has almost 300,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel, The4thKen, and he's almost uploaded 600 videos. How are you doing today, Ken?
I'm doing well. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So The4thKen, as I just mentioned, you're a barber, but you've decided to take the skill set you have and translate it and incorporate it into your YouTube channel. So give me the story. What's the backstory or the origin story of The4thKen YouTube channel? How did it come to be?
It's funny because it started in school. I was in 8th grade. It was for a school project. So we were instructed to basically make a video of us doing something that we're passionate about. Obviously, I'm passionate about cutting hair. I was just starting out. I was 13, 14. And I didn't quite know how to upload a file to where I was supposed to drop in the school project. So I asked my teacher, I said, hey, can I just put it on YouTube and then just send you the link? He said, yeah, sure, do it. So I did it. And here we are.
And here we are. I love it. Now, tell the audience the types of videos that you're putting on your channel. If they were to go to the channel right now, what kinds of videos are you uploading?
I like to call it feel-good, satisfying men's hair content. So haircuts, occasionally I'll review clippers and things related to barbering, but I like to keep it to where it's like a relaxing environment. satisfying videos where I'm just cutting men's hair. Big transformations.
And I've watched these before on your channel specifically, which is how I found you, and other creators who basically bring in someone, sometimes homeless people or people who can't afford haircuts, and they transform them from a woolly mammoth. They have all this hair all over their neck and their head, and then they do this haircut. And by the end of the video, they're this good-looking person, and it's just such a cool thing how the transformative art of a haircut can really do that to a person, and I feel like you capture that. What's been the reaction from other people in the space of barbers? What are their responses to you being on YouTube?
I have a lot of colleagues in the space. We all support each other. I'd like to say there's like different types of YouTube barbers. You got like that educational form where it's like just tutorials, just teaching. Then you have the entertainment form. I like to mix both so that I can appeal to any audience. So when you get too educational, you're just pertaining to just barbers. I don't want barbers to be my audience. I want anyone to be my audience.
Right.
That way they can see it.
Now, when it comes to growing a channel, you're almost 600 videos in, you've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers, so you're obviously doing something correct. You're doing something right. What are a few things that you can look back on your journey thus far and say, yeah, these are a few things that I could attribute my success to?
Getting an editor was big for me. I got an editor in the beginning of 2023. And the reason that helped me is it allowed me to brainstorm more content ideas, have someone to bounce my ideas off of. When I was just recording and editing, and not to mention cutting hair, that's a lot on one person. That's too much at times. So getting an editor, and he really just edits my videos. I still handle the thumbnails, the titles. That was probably my best decision in regards to YouTube, besides starting it.
And how did you find this editor, and what do you pay them?
So it's funny because the editor found me. It was very odd. So I was searching. I even experimented with some editors. They were even on the pricey side. They just didn't get me. They didn't understand me. This guy, basically, I found him through a mutual editor that we both knew. But my editor now, he was just like a photo editor. So he was doing some of my thumbnails, like my reaction thumbnails. So he reached out. He said he could do a thumbnail for me. I liked his style. He listened and he understood me. And then we just built a relationship. That's how it started. He found me.
What's it like working with an editor? What's the workflow like now, as far as when you used to do it all by yourself? Now you have someone working in tandem with you on these videos. So what is that? Give me your whole process, like from like conception to upload.
Cool. So I record a video. I pretty much already have the idea that I'm going to go with. So like how you alluded to in the beginning, when they come in like a mammoth, if it's a lot of hair, I already know, all right, we need to capture all the hair coming off. So while I'm recording and cutting, I try and get an image within the video that I can use as a thumbnail. I shoot the video over to him through Google Drive. He edits it. I come up with the thumbnail, and then we both brainstorm the title. And then it's up.
And if you don't mind sharing, what's an average that you may pay him per video, or is it per month or hourly retainer? What's the payment structure like?
It's monthly retainer. Right now, I think I have him at it depends, like between 800 and 1,000, which is very cheap. I don't want anyone watching this think that's common. It's very rare. Usually like a commercial editor with an agency is going to be much expensive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've looked into them. I have some folks helping me on the podcasts, and I do podcast production through my team as well, so I know what that looks like. And so with that being the case, you're definitely getting a good deal, so that's great. You better hang on to him. As far as storytelling, how important is it for your videos of telling the story of this person that comes in with their hair looking a certain way and then you transforming the way they look and the way they feel? Is that something you implement into your videos, and do you believe it to be important to the success of where your channel's gone?
Absolutely, 100%. Each video is a story. So even if you look at a short video, YouTube Shorts are popular, that's a story. Every video needs a story to really reach that next level, to really break your niche and find the wide range of audience, hence normal people that are just scrolling on YouTube. So it's very important.
How do you capture the story of these people? What are tactics that you implement that you would say, this is how I captured the story of this person in a YouTube short or a video? How do you do it?
Usually I'll try and relate them to their hair. So I'll say, all right, let's say Billy hasn't had a haircut in 6 months. He told me his last barber messed him up. There we go. There's our story. His last barber messed him up. I'm going to come in and save the day. We're going to take Billy from looking like this to this. Simple as that. So depending on the problem my client comes in with, maybe it's hair loss, maybe it's he just got a hair transplant, whatever. I could take that and kind of just flip it into a positive, feel-good, satisfying story.
What are the conversations like with these people as they come in? Do you already know you're going to feature them in a video? Do you talk to them before they come in? Or do you see them coming through the doors and you're like, hey, I'm going to ask this guy if he wants to be featured in a video? Do you explain? Tell us that whole process.
Gotcha. So it's a little bit of both. So I have a video day, typically either Mondays or Wednesdays each week, where I have people send me pictures of their hair from the internet. Obviously, they have to be in the Philadelphia area. And I tell them if they come in for a video, the haircut's free. So I don't even charge them for it. Now, on the flip side of that, when I do have my paid appointments, which is about 2 to 3 days a week, if someone comes in with a lot of hair and I'm like, sometimes I'll just offer them the haircut for free. Hey, look, if you let me record this, haircut's free. Haircut's on me.
And do you have to explain to them like, hey, we're gonna frame this as like you coming in here with a mess of hair and making this thing up? Is that kind of how you frame it, or do you have to be gentle with it, or what's the conversation like?
Yeah, I have to be gentle because it's tricky because hair is tied to our identity.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really talk about someone's hair without showing their face. Insecurities can get involved. It's different if you're like, if I was a chef and I'm just cooking a meal and making a video of that. It's different because there's no faces involved. There's no insecurities involved. So I definitely have to be gentle with it. Definitely.
Yeah, I would assume so, because you're right. It is linked so much to our identity. People's hair means a lot to them. And if they're coming in and you're basically telling them, hey, this kind of looks rough, we can fix this. But hey, a free haircut. The way things are going up in price right now, it's rough. So let's talk about vertical video, YouTube Shorts right now. You've done really well. You get hundreds of thousands of views on your YouTube Shorts every day, all throughout the month. How have you implemented the YouTube Shorts, and how has it grown your channel? What kind of talk about that? Because a lot of talk here on this podcast and just in the YouTube ecosystem is that some people love Shorts, they grow channels that way, but there's really no way to monetize it. Can you talk on that or speak on how you've used YouTube Shorts to grow your channel, because you've done really well with it?
Thank you. Shorts are like a dessert to a great meal. It complements it. I do know a lot of channels that are solely built on shorts. Am I a fan? Not really. I'm not really a fan of shorts. It has altered the algorithm, altered the YouTube space, because before you actually had to put in effort for longer videos to actually reach people. And if your longer videos didn't do anything, guess what? You had no audience. So now it's like a cheat code. You can use shorts to reach a different audience. But the way I've taken advantage of it, like I said, it's like a compliment. So shorts does reach a broader range. And people subscribe fast off of shorts. They just need to see a few shorts. They look at it, they're like, all right, I'm gonna subscribe to this guy.
Do you think they use that subscribe button, the like button? That's what I've told people, because I found that to be the case, where you're right. It takes more watch time, it seems, on long form content to get people to subscribe. You know, I do a tutorial channel, have been doing it for almost 14 years now, and my subscriber numbers that I get per day has gone down dramatically than what it used to be, because people used to use the subscribe button even on a channel like mine that's doing how-to educational content for technology. Now they'll just use the like button, they'll get what they came there for, and they're good to go, right? So
Exactly.
Explain that. Like, why do you think that is, as far as people consuming the bite-sized content and then subscribing quicker?
I look at it like shorts is like you're scrolling most times. So when you're scrolling and you're like, oh, I like that video, I want to see more. All right, I'm gonna subscribe to that guy. Like you said, I agree. It is like a like button almost. It's I don't want to miss another short from this guy. I'm about to continue scrolling. So to ensure that I can see this guy again, I'm gonna subscribe.
Do you also agree that it might inflate numbers a bit? Like it inflates the subscriber numbers on some channels that are doing both, right? Because you look at a channel and you look at their videos and you're like, man, they're not getting very many. Like a channel like mine, when I upload a video, people make fun of me. They're like, well, you only have a few hundred views. But what they don't understand is I'm producing that video for a 3 to 4 to 5 year lifespan, right? For search. Right. I don't care about how many views I get first 24 hours. That doesn't matter to me. So for that being the case, I do believe these YouTube shorts have inflated a lot of channels' numbers.
Absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I'm not a fan of that. Like I'll look at a channel, they have 1 million subscribers, their latest video has 1.1K views, and it's like, all right, but to each their own. I'm not here to knock anyone's style. If you're building an audience, because maybe they're building an audience to sell merch or to sell a product to a third party, and they're still going to make their money. So
let's talk about making money. What are the monetization buckets for you and your YouTube channel that stem from the YouTube channel? Can you go through all of them? Maybe even if you're willing, give us an estimate of kind of what you're earning from the YouTube channel itself.
Yep. Monthly right now, I'm earning about like between 10 to 15,000 per month. Obviously those numbers inflate if I get a really good video.
Hey guys, a quick pause in the interview this week to talk about my new weekly newsletter called The Entrepreneur's Minute. My plan for the newsletter is to only send out one email every week with a recap of what's going on in my business, maybe do an income report letting you know how much money I've made that week or that specific month, an update on my YouTube channel, and just a behind-the-scenes look of what it takes to be a creator, the books that I'm reading, the products I'm discovering, new AI tools and resources. So if you're just looking for a way to better connect with me, Dusty, and see what I got going on, and the different things that I want to write about each week, maybe it's my family, maybe it's my business, it's absolutely free. It's called The Entrepreneur's Minute, and I would really appreciate it. All right, now back to the show.
But yeah, but it opens the door for many other things, such as like sponsorships. I'm sponsored by a few companies. They pay me also per video between $100, whatever.
And let's break that down for a minute. So let's say you make 10K in a month. Where does that 10K come from primarily? Talk about the different kind of areas, like between like ad revenue, sponsorships, affiliate. Where's all that fit in?
That's just from YouTube.
Right.
About 10 to 15. That's from YouTube. Cutting hair, that's more money, obviously. But sponsorships, not too much. I don't do too many sponsorships. I'm very careful with where I put my name in because I'm planning to drop my own product line. So I'm very careful who I allow to sponsor me because it could come to bite you in the butt, in the future.
What are your average view counts per day? Because if you're making like $8,000 to $15,000, the view counts have to be pretty good, and for the most part the monetizable views are long form. So I'm looking at the TubeBuddy thing on your channel. Looks like you went from getting a few 100,000 to like here recently, like you're getting like 1,500,000 to 1 million views a day. What changed there? What kind of why such the jump recently?
I have a viral short going around. It went like ballistic. It's right now it's at 9.3 million.
Wow.
And it's crazy because I'm not sitting here like strategically posting shorts. It's just I already have it edited for Instagram and TikTok. I'm strategic on there. Shorts is like, all right, I'll throw it up at 1 a.m. Let's see what it does. Yeah.
I love that. Now, when it comes to doing that and the YouTube shorts, are you putting a related video with it to point it back to long form, or what are your strategies there?
I just started doing that because I think that feature's pretty new, right?
Fairly new, yes.
Yeah, I just started doing it. It's been working. It's been working fairly well, so I'm going to continue doing that. Sometimes I even link a video that's not even related to that one. Because in reality, like we said, I post all hair content. So if someone likes this, more than likely they're going to like another one of my videos. Mm-hmm.
Have you found that you're getting clientele from the YouTube channel, like paid clientele of seeing your stuff?
Yeah, I've been getting that for years now. It's to the point now where I'm not really taking new clients that much. I don't plan to be cutting hair that much, like for money soon. I just want to just do like the free cuts, which is YouTube.
Yeah, if you're making that much money, like it just makes sense financially for you not to worry about the paid clients, and you would be wasting your valuable time if you were in there just trimming hairs for $50 a pop or whatever it is. So for you, this is just the most valuable, resource for you, which is time. I love that. As far as just the outreach of like TikTok and Instagram that you mentioned, what are your strategies there outside of YouTube? I know YouTube's the main hub, but what else are you doing elsewhere? You got the website, you got the other places. Give us the whole rundown of kind of your strategy there.
Gotcha. So my editor runs my TikTok. He solely runs that. I think we're sitting about 60,000 followers on there. I didn't really put a lot of effort into TikTok, but now I recognize its importance, especially with me building my own personal brand of my product line that I'm planning to release soon. So other than that, I'm very strategic with Instagram. So those are my three primary: Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. I don't really mess with anything else.
Do you just repurpose like all the vertical videos you do? Are they just the same for every platform, or are you trying to change them up at all?
I'll test them out on each platform, but sometimes I do have to tweak it just a little bit, like maybe trim it a few seconds, add. So YouTube Shorts, something I've been doing recently, I'll put a custom thumbnail in it. So I'll have to add an image that I edit, kind of Photoshop it at the end of the video so that when I post the YouTube short, I can select it out the frame.
That's interesting. Do you find that to be, does that make those videos perform better, you think?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is interesting. I've heard a lot of people doing this. Explain that. You just did, but in more detail. What you're doing basically, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you're putting a frame or the thumbnail that you're editing in Photoshop, which is a vertical image, right? So you have to make sure it's framed perfectly. Can you tell us that whole workflow and like the sizing and everything just for people listening?
Yep. So I use an app called PixArt, and pretty much it's the size of a YouTube Shorts thumbnail is also the size of an Instagram story. So I pretty much choose that framing within PixArt. I just click Instagram story, I edit it, whatever, export it out, and then add it at the end of the video, and then export the video again, and then post it to YouTube, and then select that frame, and then title the video.
How long does that picture have to be in the video?
I put mine at half a second.
And
So
it's at the very end.
It's at the very end. Typically, I was doing a second, but now you can do it, I believe. Yeah, I put 0.5 the last time I did it. But to be safe, just go a second.
How do you edit your shorts? What are you using to edit your shorts? Is it that actual app, or are you doing it somewhere else?
So sometimes I'll do it on Final Cut real quick if the content is on my computer and not on my phone anymore, because sometimes I'll just upload it to my computer. I'll edit it on Final Cut, but I prefer to edit it on an app called InShot. It's on my phone.
InShot.
Yep.
And then you do the image, you put it in the InShot, you put the image split second. At this point, they're probably already swiping up to the next video, right? So it doesn't really affect their viewing experience. I'm looking at that short you did, the best haircut ever. You had this like perfect afro from this guy, this great fade in the back, and then you had this perfect line with your trimmers. Like that thumbnail, I assume you used that tactic there, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, so that's just, again, if you're listening to this, it's a great kind of hack for your YouTube shorts. Of right now, we're not, I don't know why YouTube doesn't allow us to do this, but right now we're not able to pick our own custom thumbnails. I do believe in future we will be able to, but by using this hack of doing an image at the very last second of your short and only doing it for half a second, this allows you, and you're able to go in right when you upload the short, and you're able to go in there and select that framing, right?
Yep. Just when you're uploading it. Now, I don't know if you remember, but YouTube did allow us to upload thumbnails.
At some point they did, yes, but then they removed it.
They removed it.
Which blew my, I was like, why? I don't know I don't know. Maybe because there were so many, people were uploading so many shorts so quickly that the server could, I don't know. I'm not even going to guess. I'll sound ridiculous. What are the tools of the trade for you? Like we've talked about InShot, some different apps that you're doing. What are the cameras that you use, the microphones that you use? Because I've watched your videos. The audio quality is fantastic. The video is fantastic. So what are you using? Just your phone?
Just my phone to record. A lot of people are surprised by that. Obviously, you see my videos, the clean background I have. That's a good tool. You're in a barber shop and you want to make content, get a clean backdrop. That way, any person with their hair, any color of skin, it would just look good. But other than that, mic I use the DJI, these mics.
Are those the square ones?
Yes.
Yeah, so the DJI square mics, you can attach those anywhere. I call them old school lapel mics, but you can call them whatever you want to call them. But those work great. They allow you to capture the audio from you, the barber, right, plus I said patient, the client, whatever you want to say. That's great. What are you looking to do next? What's the growth mindset for you? You talked about declining the amount of actual paid clientele you're doing for the barber work, but what's next for you short term and long term for the channel?
For the channel, I do want to document me also making my hair products, also working with manufacturers. I think that'll be a cool process to show people that it's achievable to do. But as far as the channel, I'm just going to rinse and repeat. We're going to keep doing this. And if you've noticed my videos, we've tweaked along the years. Like last year, the content I was making isn't the same as we're doing this year. So each year the algorithm changes. So we're going to rinse and repeat. And when it's time to adjust, we make those minor tweaks and keep moving forward.
Your thumbnails, to me, are some of the best things that you do. You're very good at capturing what you're going to cover and talk about and tell the story of in that video. Do you have any... I would say that the method that you've used thus far is just like less is more, right? Just a big, high-quality picture of the client, of the person getting their haircut, with maybe an arrow or something signifying where the problem area is, and then no text on the thumbnail, just bright, high-color vibrancy. What are some things that you would say there about thumbnail creation?
Thumbnails is all about psychology. So when you're scrolling on YouTube, each decision, we're making decisions. Each time we're scrolling on the YouTube homepage, it's a split, probably even less than a split second.
Less, yeah.
Psychological decision to where I'm either going to scroll or I'm going to click on this video. So I keep that in mind when I'm creating the thumbnail. I'm like, I need to create a thumbnail that people not click. Like it's going to be I need to create a psychological warfare in their brain to where I need to see this. I need to see it. I can't miss it. That's the process.
Unbelievable. I think I have a show title for the episode, the psychological reason as to why we click on thumbnails. I love it. You do such a good job of just capturing just the essence of what you're going to see in the video. Have you ever thought about live streaming or like streaming your haircuts, doing Q&As for things like that, or is that something that you're not really interested in?
I've thought about it. It's not something I'm too interested. I know they just released vertical live streaming, right?
They did, yes.
I might look into that.
Yeah, that might be something that's, especially how successful you are with the YouTube Shorts. What's, as far as the brand itself with what you're doing, is there anything you're looking to do outside of a course or doing more website, newsletter stuff? What are you looking into any of that?
I had a course. It was like a bonus content. It was through Patreon. I didn't like it. It took away my focus from like the channel. So I ended up just deading it. Not really interested in that. Like I said, I'd rather educate someone in person. Like I do classes in person occasionally, where people pay me. I set up some models for them, free haircuts, and teach them how to cut hair. But as far as an online course, it's just not something that interests me at this time.
Sure.
It may change. We'll see.
What's something that you wish someone would have told you early on in your YouTube journey? Looking back now, you're like, man, I wish I'd have known that sooner.
You don't need fancy equipment. That's what I wish someone, when I started, I did start on my phone and my iPad and stuff, but I did go out, buy expensive equipment, all this techie gear stuff. And it's just, and at that time, my channel was doing the worst. When I had the best equipment, I had a Sony camera, I bought it for $3,000. My channel was just doing the worst. It all comes down to just keeping it simple, good lighting, and good content. People are going to watch good content regardless.
Yeah, I think it's a trend we're seeing right now where lower production values and higher transparency and higher just being real with who you are is what's succeeding. Now, there's always going to be the high quality of what Mr. Beast is doing and the people like that. But for the most part on YouTube right now, I'm seeing a trend, and I've mentioned this week after week here in the past couple of months, that just more openness, more transparency, that seems to be what's succeeding on YouTube. And you're right. You can get so caught up in the latest and greatest tech. And I am the worst at this. I see these new flashy things. I want the new microphones. I want the new cameras. But I realize that what people want is just good content, like good, honest content from people that they trust. And that's where we're at. As we close the episode today, can you leave the audience with something? Is there anything you want to leave the creators with kind of today that you would say that maybe you wish someone would have told you?
Be authentic. I think that's good advice that someone um, should hear. Just be authentic. Whatever you bring to the table, do that. So if you want to educate and you're not that entertaining, do that. If you want to entertain and you don't want to be that educational, just do that. I'm a very blunt person, so I talk very blunt in my videos, and I'm just myself. I'm authentic. So
Yeah.
that's some advice I have.
Yeah, don't try to be someone you're not. You can't fake it. They'll see straight through the camera lens. That's
They'll sniff
something.
it.
They'll sniff it real quick. Ken, thank you so much. Again, you can find him over at The4thKen, 4th, not the word spelled out, over on YouTube and all the other socials. Those will be linked in the show notes of this episode. Ken, you've been an awesome guest. Thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you, Dusty, for having me. It's a pleasure.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for listening to this week's episode of the YouTube Creators Hub podcast. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget, you can subscribe to the show for absolutely free in your podcast player of choice. Also, there are ways you can connect with us. You can support us by supporting our sponsor, TubeBuddy, as well as supporting us over on Patreon to get access to our creator Discord community. And I also offer YouTube coaching and consultation, YouTube channel reviews, and just overall business coaching if that's something that you are wanting to look into. So make sure you check us out there, and we'll see you next week.